and say, why did they come out in masks to abduct people? Because there are issues of human rights. The president talked about enforced disappearances. And the president said that some of those people who have been arrested ended up being charged. Okay? So that is something that the president said. And if the president is genuine in any of this, and which we know he is not genuine, he's never been genuine, but we need to see action taken against the IG of the police. Because yesterday, what we saw against the, in fact, with the arrests that were made yesterday, it is clear that the police are the ones who have been abducting Kenyans. It is very clear. But that is something that I would also wish to hear from the current speakers who are here on the panel. We are just 8 minutes out of the time to close down the space. So maybe, Ajuoga, if you allow me, I will start with maybe Ifan. As I come, Ifan, then African, then Josephine, then Western, like that. And as we conclude the space. So Ifan, I'll start with you.
Thank you, Real Job. My part in short will be on the health sector. And before I go to the health sector, it's very unfortunate what we saw yesterday. Yes, the police made a blunder. At least this time around, they came with an identity that could identify with them. And we know their police were abducting Kenyans. If any one of you has ever been in that situation, personally, they came for me, but they could not make it to the house. I was lucky. I was not caught. I was actually not around. But the fear that these people are creating to Kenyans, not to speak on these spaces or even tweet or even write to speak in another forum, it's really showing the lack of democracy as much as we are talking about democracy in Kenya. So let me talk about the health issue, and I would want to point on the mean testing instrument that is being used by the government. Kama uko kwa hii space na umejengea your parents a nice house, you've connected them to electricity and water and probably internet and all that. When your parent goes for this any medical checkup na anaambiwa aregister kwa hii SHA, the kind of information that atapeana hapo will make that parent anaweza kuwa living good because of the son or the daughter who is working and doing what they're supposed to do to their parents, but ile band ataplesiwa by the tool, it will make him or her pay a lot of money. So when we are addressing the issue of mean testing, we need to know actually what is it that these people will be looking at. Because when you read about the whole issue, they are talking about the housing characteristics, access to basic services, house composition and characteristics, information about the beneficiary mobile telephone services. Kama ni mtu anatumia bundles, anaulizwa kwa mwezi unatumia kama ngapi. Kama unamwekeanga muongee na mama, then it means akipeana ile pesa anatumia per month, then it means ule mtu atakuwa na nini. Kama kuna connectivity ya internet kwa nyumba, kuna wifi and all that, banking and microfinance transaction, credit reference bureau, hizo vitu zote, business income, kama kuna any utility data ile akona use of gas, electricity connection, water, hizo zote zitakuwa zinampatia a disadvantage because ile band ataplesiwa will be very high according to what the SHA what the SHA mean testing instrument is looking for. So when we are talking about the health issue and we want to actually know how people are going to be paid. These are the non-salaried people. We need to know what is it exactly hii kitu wanatumia, because some of these parents, they are living good because of their sons. So, and their sons are paying dearly for this. So we need to know what is it that they'll be looking at and how will they gauge their payment to this SHA. That is if it will still continue. Now that we are pushing it to be dropped because of Andani, we still want to know that. Ile ingine ni ile kitu wanasema government will give subsidy to those who apply for the subsidy if they fall below the threshold. Your threshold ni ile the minimum, bare minimum ile ilikuwa ni 3,000. That one we need to know how sure are we that the government will actually pay that subsidy. Ama ni kutuenjoy tu wanatuenjoy. The other thing is in any country, for the universal healthcare to work as required, it really needs a lot of funding. Nimesikia hapa ikianalyziwa what will be funded on level 1, 2, 3 very well. We really need to know whether this government has actually allocated this amount of money. We really to know whether it will also sustain the amount of money wanasema. This level 1, 2, 3 where I live, I don't know whether they are even around. I know one that is very far from me and nishaienda huko one time. At least we need to know whether they are there. If they are dispensaries, we need to know the kind of dispensaries hizo ziko na doctors. Do they have even the healthcare practitioners? Ndio tujue what is happening. So me, I beg to learn and thank you for this space. We'll meet on another space. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ifan. African, allow me, with your permission, to bring in Mau Mau. Mau Mau was here quite before, but he had dropped. So, African, if you allow me, I bring in Mau Mau, then I come to you next. Is that okay? Okay, African is not next to the mic, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, African. Ifan, you can mute your mic. Thank you. So yeah, Mau Mau, take the mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted again. Unfortunately, I was here, but I dropped. I was engaged somewhere else. Well, so far so good. I would like to bring to your attention that on Tuesday we'll be having maandamano next to Supreme Court because we want to inject Mother Koome. These jury space judges, we want them out. So on Tuesday, we are calling upon everyone. It will be led by Nelson Harvey, who is our leader on that front. So kindly, I am requesting everyone to front themselves. So it's a national call. It's a national duty. So it's not for lawyers or judges alone. It's for everyone. It's a matter of Kenyans to come and fight for a team that can be able to fight for them, to preserve our constitution and preserve our justice. And the current Supreme Court, as it's constituted, does not show that to the length. Now, on matters yesterday, you're talking about king being naked. Yes, indeed, he is. But he accepted that liability, that indeed the Adani deal and the Adani saga all through has been marred with incompetency. Having accepted that liability, we have not seen people being held accountable. And I think that is what you should be pushing. Now that the deal is going to be shelved for now, because we are told that there will be another round of, reopening the same deal. I don't know, through other entities. But again, for now, we know that the deal has been cancelled, and it has been cancelled because of some incompetencies which have been led by some leaders, some politicians. So we must push for resignation, firing, and some people must be held accountable for this. Canceling the deal is not enough. You see, this regime, I'm not, elated by it. I'm not excited at all. Oh, we were told that the likes of Kinoti resigned, let alone he came to tell us that he fired Kinoti and the then IG. And there were no follow-up. There was no follow-up. we never know, we never came to understand how how much in terms of accountability, how far has the government gone to, because we understand that there were so many atrocities that were committed. We talked about the River Yala, yes, when the former AG and the former Kinoti, was there. You talk about the former CS Matiang'i was there, but we are not seeing this government holding these individuals to account. And this is what again is being done with the deal that is being said to have been cancelled. Those are the pronouncements as per yesterday. So we like to see those who are so much defending this deal being told to come forth and table their resignation, because with them at the apex, with them at the helm, with them at the position of leadership, again, are we going to have confidence with this government? Are we going to have the trust it deserves with this government? Danny is also involved in Chief and Shah. And again, having confirmed that you have cancelled the deal to do with Kentraco and JKIA, again, why are we still rolling out Chief and Shah? And we know that the same person that you're saying that he is not competent enough, he has been indicted somewhere, is still involved in it. So we need still to keep on pushing this and tell this government that we are not willing to be treated like small kids. We need to be, we need we need everything put open to us, open to Kenyans. Stop, acha kufanya kama unatuchezea shere. That is the reason as to why I am here, insisting that Kenyans, we should not relent. Again, it is not a favor, and we should not praise the president because of what he did yesterday. It is a problem that he initiated himself and his cabal, and therefore it is not the problem that he is solving for Kenyans. There's nothing that he has solved for us. We have just, it is for us who Kenyans who said that we don't want this deal because it's a problem to us. There's no benefit. There's no outlined benefit that Kenyans can be able to, associate and resonate with, and therefore coming, seeing some government, sympathizer telling us that the president is a listening president because he has cancelled the deal doesn't add up to me. It is a problem he engineered himself and his cabal. Then therefore they must own it to themselves. And that is why I'm calling upon resignation or firing of those individuals who are involved, because they are squarely culpable. They are squarely culpable. Not much to be said, but there is something that I was on another space yesterday, and there was something that was raised there on matters to do with people who are in diaspora, and somebody was saying that those who are in diaspora keep on calling for maandamano, yet they are not here. Yet they, if it were not for those who are in diaspora, we could not be aware of the Adani deal. It is one of those who is in diaspora who exposed this deal. So coming to space and trying to bastardize, calling diaspora people evil, that they are not here when they are required, yet we ourselves who are here could not even be able to see this deal going through. It is one of them who saw it coming. It is very unfortunate. So we must acknowledge each and every one of us, the effort that we are making. It is for every one of us. It is that small effort that each one of us is making out there, whether here or outside, sending that 100 shillings. In fact, if you remember, to the eve of 25th, there was a lot of money which was sent to the tune of 30 million, and 70% of that money came from diaspora. So kindly, we have to keep on acknowledging that those people who are out there, they are doing a lot of good work, and this is what we must continue doing, and we continue appreciating them. Yes, on matters education, this government has decided to neglect. You can see that the lecturers, the dons are out there. Yesterday, they emphasized that the strike is still on, and I never heard the president pronouncing himself on that case, on that course. He never said that he's going to resolve all. He has committed himself in resolving, apart from the usual rhetorics. We have not. I didn't hear him talking about how far he has gone to address the issue of university funding model. So far, it is still remain a mirage. If you remember, sometimes back, he told us that he has constituted a commission, a committee or a commission is going to look into that. So far, nothing tangible. Still, our comrades are struggling out there. Our parents, we are struggling to support our siblings. So on that case, I didn't see any effort from the government. Femicide, coming to tell us that you have committed 100 million, that will only entice a few individuals who are going to share that millions that we are talking about. Is per DM sitting to talk about femicide, and out there things are happening. If we cannot be able to tell who abducted Aoko and went all the way to dump her along the borders of Kenya and Tanzania, then what are you telling us? If you cannot own the abductions that are happening in Kenya, you are denying and saying that in case there is somebody with an evidence, and the evidence is out there, you can see. So it tells you that you are not ready to serve us. You are not ready to give us justice. And that is why I'm still pessimist about so many rhetoric that came out yesterday. Talk about the abductions. Yes, yesterday there were comrades who were abducted, and you could hear from the accent that these are not Kenyans. Yes, Aoko in one of her Twitter has confirmed that they are who? Those who abducted her are not Kenyans, going with the accent. So we admit that as much as they are colluding and working together with Kenyans discipline force, again, there are some imported rogue police from our neighbor countries, from our neighbor country. So Kenyans, I am not sure of what Ruto just pronounced yesterday, whether he is going to stand with it or it was just a matter of playing to the gallery, playing a populist kind of, because he was just saying what Kenyans want to hear, that a Adani deal is no longer going to be. But what about other many things that we are talking about? How far are we as far as our economy, apart from those numbers that you're telling us? Why are we not feeling that impact, that effect of economic growth? The numbers of affordable housing, houses that he keeps on talking about. if you go there, you can't afford. I told you, I remember in one of the space, I told you that I went to Ruiru. I personally, I went to Ruiru to inquire about the houses, and they were booked when they were at the foundation stages. And that secretary herself told me that those who bought them are in the government. And she told me that I should not even inquire more to know who are they, because they are acquiring 3-4 units. It doesn't matter whether you get to that whatever you are calling hapo kwa nini nyumba yangu sijui boma yangu. So you are there just as a house girl. You are there just as shaba boy. But those who are acquiring this are those who can afford, because the figures are exorbitant. 3 million, 2 million, 1.5 for a 1-bedroom. How many of us can afford that? With a 10% of that, you are required to give to the tune of 300,000 as a deposit. So there is so many things that this government is doing wrong, and unless we keep on continuing pushing it to that limit so that they can be able to do them right, then we are wrong. We are on the wrong. Yesterday I saw our members of parliament applauding and appreciating President as he was pronouncing himself. Now you can see the kind of member of parliament that we have, or you have in your own constituency. People who are defending something, and yet once it goes against, they still applaud. So it is the opportune time. It is the right time as we move forward. We keep on calling these leaders, that these politicians, I don't want to call them leaders because they don't listen. And the leader ought to listen. So these politicians, let them know that Kenyans are disgruntled. Kenyans are not happy with their representation. They have let Kenyans down all through since we elected them. They have not been doing their work as oversight. They are there as stooges and cartoons. Their work is to sing yes sir, anytime for them probably to be granted an opportunity to do a deal with the government. So or probably for the what bills, for their pending bills to be paid by the government after doing deals with the government. So as we speak, we don't have representation in parliament, and we must be thinking about that. We should continue pushing for the constitution of IBC, because President lied to Kenyans that he's going to constitute the same within 10 days after the Gen Z's 25th June, but this has never happened. So we must get clarification from the president. When are we going to get this deadline? That is why I always say that when we keep on saying that we must push for deadline, yet there are so many deadlines the government has set there before, and they are not committed to the same. Unless we get to the streets, that is the only language this government understand. So let me again, as I lad, request you on Tuesday. All Kenyans are headed to Supreme Court. We need accountability. Juris Pesa is not doing Kenyans any justice. We have seen terribly how the previous finance bill 2023-2024, which was ruled by the Court of Appeal.
Momo, I would ask you, I would request that you land. We've already gone past the time, so I'll give you a minute maybe to wrap up your submission.
Thank you, I'm landing. So I request Kenyans, let's meet on Tuesday, so that we push Koome and and her cabal out of office. Thank you, Real, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mau Mau. Let's go to African, then Josephine. So African, take over the mic.
Yeah, I think in short, I just want to encourage everyone here to keep pushing, keep sharing information. I think what I've noticed is most of us, we are on different levels of awareness, right? And when we are sharing this information, we expect that there's going to be some pushback, there's going to be some backlash, there's going to be some jealousy or people trying to grow their numbers in other ways. That should not deter you as an individual from pushing forward and bring along children, right? Try and explain to them in digestible format what's really happening at country level. Because I'm drawing from my own example. I grew up in an environment where I was just told whatever the government does is what we must follow. That was about 25 years of my life, and it took getting to 25 and starting to wake up and realizing that you should not ask what the country can do for you. You should ask what you can do for your country. And even if you're limited in terms of funds or you're limited in terms of capacity to run for an office, you can start locally. You can start with your children. You can start with your neighbors. Those you go, if you go to a store, you talk to them, your barber, your driver, and just spread awareness of what we are trying to do, because what the revolution we are seeing right now is much needed. And you can only imagine how many other countries are going to follow suit once we achieve what we are trying to achieve. And also know that some of us I'm a mother of 3 children now. I'm in my 40s. Some of us may not live to see the fruits we want to see right now, but never forget the idea of planting the seed. If something smells wrong, smells iffy, it's definitely something to look into. And there is no limit to learning, right? There's a lot we have to unlearn and then learn new stuff. And pass on that lesson to others. So thank you so much for this space. And for everyone who's listening live or even as a recorded space, I think I'm going to listen to the recorded space because I missed some segments. Just keep on keeping on, keep on pushing on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, African. Josephine, give us your final submissions.
Thank you very much. I want also to concur with Mau Mau, and I hope he has not just gone away. I wanted to request him, because we have discovered that as we move and push the judiciary, there are things that we would want to see them being put right in the courts properly, because we have realized some of the judges are pro-government so much, such that you realize even when you have been very consistent with your cases in court, actually that judge will even put you to a show cause, yet you have never failed, but the judge himself is the one who has been committing the mistakes and making the adjournments. Then they put you to a show cause, and that means we are remaining in the mercies of the judge, and that judge can even mishandle your case or mismanage your case. So these are things that we have started seeing them since when Maranga left office. And we would really wish them, especially for those of us who are regular court users, we would really want to see these things put clear. And also we need to see it being cut categorically and know clearly that if we have to bring a matter in court, and if this matter is supposed to be put on a show cause, at what levels and for what reasons, because you realize that in most cases, actually the appellants are the people who are being put on show cause, but the respondents are not being put on show cause. I cannot find my own case, and then you put me on a show cause, while the respondent is the person who is just delaying the case, and the court is the one granting the opportunities for the case to be delayed. So I'm really concerned about that. I've just seen such injustices in the court happening right now. The other thing is that I want to say that I want to call upon everyone kindly, just continue sharing the message that I've just shared about my account. Let whoever is has just hide my account, give me back my account. However, I'll also be sharing another account for all of us because we need to talk about the shift sharp. Let me remind you that our health is paramount, and anyone who denies you good health denies you life, because you cannot live when you don't have health. So it's our responsibility. I'll be sharing, and as I had promised prior, I'll still on it up, and I write even to the president to remind him that the Kenyans, we are not happy with the shift sharp, and they have to be kept away from us as citizens. And I call upon all the workers. We meet on Sunday at 7:30. So all generally, I mean all the citizens of Kenya, because all of us, we contribute towards building this country. So I'm calling upon everyone on Sunday from 7:30. We join the space and deliberate on this. Thank you so much, and may God bless us. May God see you through. May God bless our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Josephine. Weston, your final remarks.
Thanks, the real Joe. The real Joe, you've raised a very pertinent question about police brutality. Well, the president, if you look at his speech, the wording is very tame. You know, it's very tame as far as atrocities that are perpetrated by the police are concerned. And he still is asking Kenyans to, you know, go to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, IPO, and stuff like that. But you know those processes, you know, they amount to nothing. He's not even, you know, categorical. The police are brutalizing Kenyans and they're using excessive force. He's condemning. It's not condemning. You know, a president who's committed to the sanctity of human life will make it unambiguously clear that any police officer who acts in contravention to the Public Order Act will be prosecuted. Will be prosecuted. Because there are parameters and procedures on police when they're deployed to go and man crowds and protests, how they're supposed to conduct themselves. One of which is not to shoot at protesters. So if a president doesn't say a police who shoots at protesters will be arrested and prosecuted, he's not helping it. He's not helping it. And it's a problem because the Public Order Act in democracies, it doesn't just specify how the protesters or people are picketing are going to conduct themselves. It also specifies and stipulates, spells out how the police are supposed to conduct themselves. And if they contravene that act, they'll be arrested and they will be tried and they'll be jailed. It's like the George Floyd thing. You're not allowed to step on the neck of a protester. That's not part of what you're supposed to do. You have committed a crime. It may not be murder, but it's manslaughter. So he's still giving the police a free pass, which is a problem to me. It's a problem. He's not calling them out. He's not putting them on notice. And the inference is that they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job. Previously, actually congratulated them. Previously, actually denied that they are not the ones who are engaged in abductions. So why would the president not pronounce themselves on why the police would put on, balaclavas, those things they're wearing on their faces, and abduct people in broad daylight? Why would he not pronounce himself on that? In a democracy, what does that say? Well, it says there's no democracy. There's no rule of law. So I'm not persuaded that he's committed to reining in police brutality, extrajudicial executions, and abductions. And I fear that this will become ingrained in the police culture, which is very problematic. We did not see this before. It's happening now. What is so hard for the police to identify themselves? What's so hard? What is so hard for the police to? So how do you tell this person who is, abducting you and bundling in a car, is a criminal or is a police? Well, criminals who take advantage of that. They just out of nowhere they abduct people and bundle them into cars. People say, no, these are the police, but they're not the police. Those are criminals. Well, it's an indictment on his part. I think he thinks the police are doing a good job, and I'm disturbed. The judiciary, the real job. I read about a case where a young man was arrested outside a Rampe house and was taken to court. I think he was caught with a machete or something, and was supposed to post a bail of 150,000 and there, but some crazy amount of money. The judiciary is not helping. It's not helping. It's not helping. That's a lot of money. Well, let's say that the young man contravened the Public Order Act, carried a weapon in public and stuff like that. 150,000 for bail? That's steep. That is steep. Yeah, it's meant to, intimidate, protesters. You dare not do that. But why do judges even allow that? Why would give that young man a bail of 5,000 if at all? Because they're not guilty. They're still innocent until they're proven otherwise. Why not? Why not? Why that steep amount of money? So they're not helping. These are institutions that are oppressing Kenya, which is extremely problematic. The president has not yet come out clear as far as state violence is concerned, and it's continuing. He cannot claim that he doesn't know who's doing this. Now, if he doesn't know who's doing this, why are these people not arrested? No, let's say they are not part of the police. These are just criminals or crooks. Why are they not being arrested and arraigned in court? Why would the police mimic the gangs in Haiti? Because we have got police officers in Haiti. Why back home in Kenya, we have the police who are actually behaving like gangs in Haiti? Because they would kidnap you and keep you for ransom or something. Why would the police behave like that? And the modern police, for that matter, or a police that is supposed to act as per this 2010 constitution. Why is it perennially and relentingly contravening this law and they get away with it? Well, they don't do it because we've got a country whereby state actors, act above the law. It's like they're above the law, state actors. And anybody who's associated with the state, that's problematic. That the law is only meant for, mere mortals. You who is not connected, you who is not part of the government, you are the one who's supposed to read the law. What does the act say, this and that? The other people don't bother because, after all, where will you take them? Where will you take them? They don't bother. That is problematic. Where you've got two sets of laws, if at all, then what you have is not the law. You've got anarchy. You've got chaos. You've got chaos. You've got anarchy. You've got lawlessness. If the law can apply selectively, depending on your station in life, depending on the position involved in life, depending on the amount of money you have, there's no law there. It's chaos. It's lawless. The jungle law, if at all. So the real job, I'm not persuaded. The president did pronounce himself unequivocally. He should put these police officers on notice that you actually will go to jail. If you shoot at Kenyans gratuitously, you'll go to jail. If you execute Kenyans, you'll go to jail. If you brutalize, you'll go to jail. He's not pronouncing himself on that. So how will it end? It won't end. I don't want to see people hiding in banner clavers in public, abducting Kenyans and bundling them in cars, unmarked cars. That will stop tomorrow or now immediately. If you was to pronounce it, it will stop immediately. You won't see those things. But that they're continuing, what does it mean? They have got the approval of the state actors and from the topmost office. The real job, Haiti. If you want to know that we also have got a problem as far as this Pan-Africanism that we are talking about is concerned. Haiti has been rendered desolate and dysfunctional by the US and the French for many years. They have engineered coups in Haiti. They have hoisted autocrats on Haiti. For those who have read history, there were two, Papa and Baby Duvalier. These were autocrats in Haiti. Brutalized Haitians. The UN has ever taken cholera to Haiti. Now, as a result, so many people died as a result of cholera. These missions, one of which we are a part now, they have left Haiti worse than it was. The French, former colonial master of Haiti, for many years, millennia, they made Haitians to pay the French reparations for setting them free. Normally, it is the people who have been aggrieved, who have been brutalized, who receive reparations. But in this case, you, former slaves, you have to pay your slave owners or former slave owners reparations for millennia, for setting you free. So why would Kenya be entangled in that messy history? Why would it? Why would it be entangled in it? Why would the Kenyan taxpayers, with their meager resources, fund such an expedition? Why would they do it? Yeah, because we're doing it at the behest of Uncle Sam. Joe Biden told us, come and take care of this rubbish. This is our rubbish. Come and clean it for us. Why don't they do it for us? Why don't we ask ourselves, why don't the Kenyan political elite ask themselves, why is Haiti the only poorest country in the Northern Hemisphere? How? Is that what was ordained by God? That you are just the only poorest country in a hemisphere of wealth and abundance. You're the only poverty-stricken. Why don't the Kenyan political elite ask themselves those questions before taking police officers to Haiti to do someone else, house cleaning? And it's not even house cleaning because the gangs are continuing. The Prime Minister was in Nairobi the other day. He went back to Haiti, resigned. Like, why do you want to be part of that mess? For whose interest? These are pertinent questions we have to ask, and we're asking. In whose interest are you in Haiti? Whose interest are you serving? Clearly not the people of Kenya. Clearly not. Colonial masters, the French, and the other imperial powers, the US, you go and do the dirty work. How can we be like so naive and oblivious of history and international politics like that? How? The real Joe, the other thing is the president talked about the shilling appreciating against the dollar. Well, is it a good thing or is it not a good thing? There's a correlation between a strong currency and a strong economy, but there's no causality. What it means is that usually countries with strong currencies usually also have strong economies and high standards of living. It always follows like that. But it's not the strong economy that translates into high standards of living. That's not what it is. So the president here is trying to make you think that as the shilling appreciates, the economy is doing well and Kenya's living standards are rising. No, it's not true. It's not true. It doesn't work like that. People's living standards rise as a result of productivity. When the economy is booming, there are jobs, people are getting jobs, they're doing some meaningful things with their lives. There's manufacturing, people are manufacturing things, they're consuming those things locally, and they're selling surplus things abroad and getting foreign exchange. And there are services produced in the country which people consume locally, and even external consumers come. That's how the economy grows. It's not just the shilling is appreciating. No, it doesn't translate that. I can take you to Zambia. The Zambian kwacha is stronger than our shilling, 27 or something to the US dollar. Or to Ghana, the Ghanaian cedi is stronger than our shilling, 15 or thereabout to the US dollar. But you go to those countries and tell me whether their living standards are any different from ours. They're not. They're not any different. So there is correlation, but there's no causality. That the shilling is appreciating does not in itself mean that the economy is doing well and Kenya's living standards are rising. There's a whole concatenation of factors for people to start, seeing benefits as far as the economy is concerned. So some of those things, well, when you look at them, they seem persuasive, but drill deeper, you realize, no, they mean nothing. Just talking points, but nothing, there's no substance there. So we can even wake up and say the shilling is 1-to-1 to the dollar. In Zimbabwe, they're using the US dollar, but go to Zimbabwe, see the kind of misery that is there. The cost of living is just beyond the reach of many, many Zimbabweans, and they're using the US dollar. So it's not the currency per se, as he is trying to put it. Joe, thank you so much. Keep going. Let's keep talking.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Weston. A lot of pertinent issues you've raised there. And yeah, Ajoga, your final remarks.
Let me take this opportunity to also appreciate you, Joe, and John for opening up this space. And also appreciate all Kenyans who, by any design, are coming on to contribute to what we need to do moving forward. Mine will be very brief. I just request our fellow countrymen and women to keep on check of the eye. We are dealing with a lot of mediocrity, a lot of atrocities, and so many weaknesses that can be prevented, as well as incompetency of a serious magnitude currently. We are looking at a situation where our agricultural growth systems is almost in its brink, because we are not even sure that even the fertilizers we are using are stones or not, and that can be seen in recent productions, agricultural productions, reports that have been released, despite the fact that the presidents really smeared it with good terms yesterday. But the truth of the matter is we are collapsing as a nation. The president himself is naked. I can see you are mentioning him as a king, but let me give him a title, a president, because now if we go outside the country, we literally answer and name him as the president in case we are asked that outside the country. But anyway, he appears to be any normal civilian Kenyans who have just come from the sky and has fallen in State House without knowing. And that is why I request all Kenyans that we put our eyes check on both the microeconomic level and macroeconomic status of our country. That is to say, the situation our agricultural sector is, nothing is literally going on. We have so many sugar industries and companies that are collapsing, but if you see their bloggers, they are saying it is working. They are not working anyway. Sony Sugar is on the brink, Moroni Sugar, Chemelil, as well as Mumia Sugar. So there are a lot to be done. There's just a lot of PR being done on Kenyans. Let's also keep on watch, because there are so many things. We need to get answers on where the Hustler Fund really came from, and how far has it benefited Kenyans, and how is it benefiting? Which are the flow system of cash? Who is benefiting? Is it Kenyans or not? We also need to have hard questions on the whereabouts of NHIF money, as well as whereabouts of the 104 billion that was allocated to SHIP for ICT infrastructure, when NHIF only needed 800 million to rectify a few things in their structure. Adani is also here. I think as Kenyans, we also need to put to watch on possible ways. Let's support the court processes that are currently going on and ensure that we fight this to finality, but also ensure that there is no any other form of PPP. Let JKIA leak, because I think when they were introducing the whole issue of Adani, they came with a certain very foggy argument that JKIA was leaking, if you can remember. And these things are done deliberately. Maybe for some reasons, there were the people who walitoboa hizo nini and made Kenyans to believe that it is indeed leaking. So we need a PPP. So there's a lot of atrocities that are being peddled on Kenyans. There's a lot of greed. There's a lot of theft that are covered in blanket, and Kenyans of normal daily, waking up and going for a normal day cannot be able to know. It is only the conscious people who put their head on beyond their neck can be able to literally see what is happening in this government. A lot is going on. There is a lot of mediocrity in place, and there's a lot of incompetence in play. Even as we do this, let's all come together and support every formidable cause. If Josephine is calling up for all of us to attend the space, we